All right, today I'm going to adjust up my grinder, the cube mill that we got working again, but this is really the grinder I use every day. It's the ice steel, and this baby works really good. And the reason I got it is the fine adjustment. It's just analog, it's just a nice little wheel, and the old cube mill is pretty much the same thing. It's not as high a quality a grinder as that one, but anyway, here it is, and it has the same fine adjustment, and that's what I like about these grinders. That's why I picked them. But anyway, let's go ahead and set this up. So I got a little bit from the ice steel, and I have that in there so I can, with my fingertips, and let's wait here, we're turn the switch on, and probably better to put a little basket in there. Anyway, I'm not really going to use this first coffee, but yeah, let's put the basket in. Get everything straightened up the way we like, and then we're going to grind our first bit. This is going to be too coarse, and I know that in the beginning because I want to start slowly moving towards what I want, rather than big jumps and then backing up and kind of going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So we'll go ahead and do this one, and yeah, feel it. It's still a little too ground, but I can test it with the other one, so I can kind of feel once I get closer and closer. So I'll give it a few spins, 3 to 5 usually. It doesn't move that much. It makes a fine adjustment. Then we'll go ahead and grind some more. And I like to grind it plenty in case there's some of the last batch still in there that's going to be maybe a tiny bit coarser. But so I like to feel some on the top there. And we're going to probably burn through a little coffee while we do this. But that's all right because we're going to be dialed in. And I like to not go to choking. I like to just move right up to that level slowly and surely, and it's worth it to be patient. 15 minutes of playing around and you'll have yourself dialed in, and it'll be great. So I just keep moving it a little up and keep feeling it, and you can kind of see that the coarser coffee is a little lighter in color anyway than the finer ground from the other machine, even though it's the exact same coffee. But so I'm just going to keep feeling it and going till we're really close to the other one, or as close as I can feel anyhow. But we're going to go on and on and on, and we'll get there pretty soon. Anyway, it's a nice afternoon. We're going to dial this in, and the cube mill's working. I'm kind of always ready for it to break or something happen to it each time. That's why I have backups. And you see that the little housing, the little bell on top likes to jump around when it's low on coffee. I've never had it fly out, but yeah, it does jump around quite a bit if you don't put your hand on it when it's low on coffee. It jumps less the fuller it is, but anyway, I'm going to keep moving on here, and we'll just get it all done. And it's time to dump that, and yeah, that's the coffee. We drink this coffee almost every day, so that it's our common coffee for. Sometimes we get more gourmet and different Konas on occasion, but they're even expensive when we live here and know some of the farmers. It's still expensive to produce, and sometimes it's really rich, so you can't really have it every single day. Or you could, but it perhaps is too rich. This one's pretty rich itself, too rich for many people, but if someone comes and visits us after a day or two, they're right into this. It might be harsh on them the first day or two, but after that they dial in, and then when they get home, they say, oh, the coffee is mocha fuck, or whatever they say, it's bad coffee. But anyway, so after a while, you get really used to a medium dark. A lot of people like medium, and they can bring out all their tastes. And all that's good. Whatever type you like is the correct coffee for you. As simple as that. Not everybody, and thank it isn't like that everybody likes the same coffee. But, so we're going to keep on going here, and yeah, I'm running Misty Blue and my other machine. They're both simple, just with the gauge. And I like both these machines on the cart. The Misty Blue runs a little smoother than the other one, but each of these older machines has its own personality. So you can't necessarily judge each machine by the next one, because these both work good. And the blue machine has a much smoother handle. The other one gets a little stiff, but both of them are new gaskets. Both are working really good, and there are little minor differences. If you're using a couple, you will notice that. But they work all pretty much the same, but with minor little idiosyncrasies. So you got to dial that in. And we're going to keep going here. You can see we've done a few, and pretty soon we'll be ready to do some coffee tests. Once my fingertips feel very close to the other one, just under it, then we'll start going for the next step and see how it comes out. So we keep grinding. We'll burn through, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 ounces at the most of coffee. Probably about 4 I think I burnt through to do this. And some of it I just threw out just because there's not much reason to use it. It's not going to be that great. But all right, we did drink a couple of these test lattes, but they're a bit watery for us because we're used to the medium dark. That's the same thing when we travel. It's medium roast most places. I need to get at least 4 shots in a smaller 12-ounce latte if we're out and traveling somewhere on the mainland to really get a coffee that we like. And it's a little hard for us because we like the medium dark, but anyway, we're going to keep going and we're just going to work our way down. It's like a few years ago we went to Disneyland. We've gone a few times, but they used to have an espresso machine over by the railroad in New Orleans Square. Even though it wasn't the best coffee, at least it was an espresso machine. You get those little Mickey donuts, the beignets, and that was fun and cool. It wasn't, but you're in Disneyland, you're a trapped audience. But now it's all like the lowest grade Starbucks. The last time we were there, it was like, I've never bought so many coffees I dropped in the trash. And our old beloved espresso machine one, they just pour out of hot pots, and it's pretty dismal too. So anyway, there is one place outside on D Street that does have espresso that's passable in the area, so you'll have to find that restaurant and go to this Italian place. They have these big old pizzas. It's tourist food like anywhere, but pretty good. And they do have passable and pretty good espresso there. So when we got there, we made the waitress run back and forth and bring us a bunch because we had been for about 2 days just like deprived of anything drinkable and even around there. But we'll go on and let's go ahead and we're going to do our first coffees here. So let's see how this one comes out. If it runs out too quick, we know we haven't gone quite enough, and so we'll bring the handle up and you can see not quite. It comes out a little too fast there. So this isn't really going to be, I'm just going to jettison this through. I'm not really worried about the timing, and this cup will probably be a sacrifice. So you can see that this one didn't go now. The next machine, and you can see I turn off my machines after making a coffee unless I'm going to immediately make another one. They're just take so short a time to warm up, you don't need to really leave them on. And this one is a little more, but it went out fast too, so this one was a tiny bit more ground, but it's also sacrificial. And that one will go out and we'll just chuck those babies. Actually, we made them little lattes. We had a little bit, but it was a little watery and not really what we're used to, but we didn't want to be too wasteful. So those are the first 2 tests. Now we're going to bring her down a little more. A few turns. We need to get down there so that coffee doesn't just run out. I'm pretty good at tamping. Inside I use a much heavier tamp than out here, so I have to tamp a little harder when I use the skateboard creation. It's just a little lighter, so let's go ahead and make another couple. And each one I'm going to bring us down a little finer too, so we'll be all set there. And let's feel that one. It's still a little, I think it's a little too coarse still. I'm just going to top it off with a little bit finer. Might make a little difference, but these are all tests. These are just for calibration, so let's go ahead and do this one. Fill it up, and I don't think this is going to be enough. It kind of has two different grinds in there by a little bit, but we're going to run it through anyway because we have it, and we'll run it each. So this time the purple machine will have slightly less coarse, and then we're a little more coarse, excuse me, and then the other one we're going to go finer yet, and then we'll be able to compare the two. So let's go ahead and set these 2 up, and we'll do another actual pull and see how this test goes. Run this little housing of coffee up. But that's okay, I plan to, and sometimes you just have to do it, and then you'll be dialed in, and you really don't have to move these grinders around that much. Once you have them in, I don't really move them. I adjust with different coffees. If it's darker, or whatever with the tamp, which works the same as always switching your grinder around too much. And then if I was going to make, any other type of coffee, like in the Bellman maybe, or really like a French press or something, I have another little basic grinder that I'll use for all that. It doesn't grind fine enough. It's one of those Capressos. If you put it on the finest, you can passably, with heavy tamping, use it with the La Pavoni, as I've done, but really, it's good for other coffees. It's not really grinding in a grind fine enough for the La Pavoni, but let's go ahead here. So let's go purple first. And this one is a little less fine, so let's see if it's ready yet. Nope. See, it just immediately came out, so that to me is not quite fine enough, but it's getting there. So we're just going to jettison this one through and just let it cool down. So let's do the next one, and this one will be super fine. And let's see, this one's a lot finer. Let's see if this one goes. So up the handle goes. It's taking a second, but a little quick. It's getting close, but it started dripping a little quick. Not as excessively as the other one, but let's go ahead and go. This one's really close. For some people it might be good, but not quite. It needs a tiny bit more, but you can see it looks pretty good. It's almost a regular pull, but I think it still needs to be a little finer. So let's look at these two. It looks, it's not bad. So that one might pass for a lot of people, but I think I need just I think it needs another level of fineness here. So let's go ahead and take that down, and we'll make another coffee or two here. Let's see what happens. So we'll start off in the purple here, and let's get another little brew basket. I have 4 out so far, so a little steam. See how you just don't go too far, that baby will blow out. But it had just a tiny, you couldn't see, but a tiny hiss of steam it released. And now I test it. Yeah, we're good. No little explosions. We've all had those, and cleaning up that from all over the place, the walls. But here we go. So now we've added some new beans, restocked. You can see that the bill housing doesn't really bounce as much on these as with the rolled beans. But here we go. Pretty fine. I think this one will be there, maybe a couple more turns after this, but I have a feeling that this is going to be it. So let's go ahead and get this baby ready and load up the machine, and let's see how this one pulls. We have our old-fashioned blue cup, and let's go. This machine pulls up, it's a little stiff, but not bad. It's just the characteristic of this particular machine. There we go. Oh, that's good. Look, it's not dripping, so it's going to take a little bit. I'm going to go walk inside, back, and there it is. It just started dripping, so it took just a little bit, and yeah, look at this. Moving around a little, but yeah, this one is pretty much there. Look how nice that's coming out. And that's just the way I make them. Not, make your coffee the way you want to. So anyway, this is the way I do it. And I like just the pure style. I don't want to do too much. I like the simplicity of just the pure way to do it. And there you go. Look how good that went. Nice stream, nice color. Tiny bit more, I think, but that's pretty much there. And yeah, lovely little espresso. I have that Midwestern accent, so sometimes, even though I'm not from the Midwest, but there we go. Espresso, there you go, my friend. Espresso, I said it the right way. But anyhow, we did it, and I'm going to give it just a couple more, and next time this will be perfect. All right, subscribe, and we're going to do the contest in pretty quick. There we go.